Good morning.
Go ahead, bro.
Good morning or good afternoon or good night, whatever time you're watching or listening to this podcast. Welcome to Coffee Break. I'm your host, Officer Trevor Macy.
And I'm Officer Chad Ditch. I like your Truman Show reference.
Yeah.
Yeah, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
I don't see ya.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
That was a good movie.
That's a great movie.
Yeah, I like
Classic
it, man.
Jim Carrey.
So we're recording on a Monday today.
It is a Monday.
So, and it doesn't feel like a Monday.
I was about to say it feels like
Does
a Monday.
it? Yeah, I think
It's a long weekend.
Yeah. What'd you do?
Worked the wind surge game, worked at the Warren. I was on call, so got several phone calls over the weekend about different goings on here in Wichita. So what about you? You doing anything fun?
Well, so speaking of wind surge, I think I worked every day last week a wind surge game.
It was hot.
Yeah, it was hot. And they didn't do too well, man. Like they played in a San Antonio mission, and those guys could hit the ball.
Yeah.
So
it was not their best effort, but still support the team.
But my daughter had a softball tournament this weekend, and they won it all.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So champions of the SummerSlam tournament. So
how many teams were in that?
I want to say 15. And then Sunday morning we had a pretty good rain delay. They play on turf fields.
Okay.
So they took the top two teams from each pool.
Mm-hmm.
So it ended up my daughter's team was the second best in that pool. So they went to the top four and they played there. So
very nice.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah, man. She had a good hard hit ball right back towards the pitcher and out into center field. So it was good, man. It was cool.
Heck yeah.
So, but yeah. And then we're down to our last week of June already, man. It's crazy.
Flew by.
Yeah.
It's flying by this whole month. Flying by. The summer is like... I think if summer just officially started, right?
Yeah, technically, yeah. But
it feels like it's been summer for a while.
Yeah, because you think, 45 days basically?
Yeah.
Or 60?
I mean, it's been so hot out, too. Like
yesterday was so nice.
It was super nice yesterday. I hope that stays around for a while because I got some yard work I got to do.
Yeah.
And I don't want to do it in 105-degree heat.
So I'm so blessed to not have to do yard work.
Yeah.
Shovel snow or anything, man.
I hate mowing.
Yesterday was hoodie and shorts weather, like for a good portion of it.
Yeah, I wore jeans outside and I was comfortable, which is weird given the recent events, but it's Kansas, I guess. So
it is Kansas.
You can never predict what the weather's going to do.
Yeah. They had a NHL had their champion named last night because they won best out of 7 series. So Colorado Avalanche.
Okay, Avalanche.
Yep. Since you guys all voted to get rid of hockey last week, so
I don't
figured I'd
really
shout that.
Follow hockey at all.
But the team that they were playing against, I think they're Tampa Bay Lightning. They've won 2 titles back to back, and they're in the championship series this year.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going for a 3-peat, and
didn't happen.
It didn't happen, man. They got down 3-1, and then This was,
better luck next time.
It was.
Better luck next time.
But anyway, how's your week looking this week?
Just keeping busy, just working on some projects, posting stuff on social media, and day-to-day operations. I don't really have anything big going on this week that I can think of.
It's just like it's every day has something different.
Yeah, every day is different.
It's the life of a PIO.
It's every day there's something else that comes up that you got to deal with. So
yeah, we had some recruits graduate last week. That was pretty cool.
That was cool. I just posted the video of that graduation this morning too. Yeah,
I didn't see it yet.
Yeah. So it's on Facebook and YouTube. You can watch that. So
dude, they even for your graduation, did they have the WPD banner out there like what we have for?
No.
They didn't have
I just took a picture like in front of a wall.
Right?
Yeah.
So, these ones were dope.
Yeah, they went all out for this one. That was pretty cool.
And I've heard other classes have 2, but I don't know. I don't know how new that is, but I like it. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I like it.
And seeing all the
nice pictures.
And then does it bring back any kind of memories for you, like what not basic, but what the academy was like?
Yeah. A lot of memories about the graduation. And just it's a cool ceremony. It kind of takes you back in that mindset of like when you first get on the department and you're like, you're ready to go out and make a difference.
Yeah.
It's a nice way to like recharge your batteries. To see those guys and how excited they are to be a part of WPD.
Right.
So.
And I learned something about you during that time when we were out there doing photos and videos that you gave your graduation speech as well, right? You were class president. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Did you?
I did.
So we're both
class presidents.
Look at us.
Right? And now here we are today.
Who would have thought?
Yeah,
Look
man.
at us now.
But I'm excited, man. I have a a kid that graduated, a mentoree. So I'm excited to see him do big things and stuff.
Yeah, me too.
Or all of them for that matter. But
yeah,
man. And then, did you see who was on the podcast today?
Yeah, we have another canine.
Yep.
I'm excited about that. More dogs in the house.
More dogs in the house. But this one is Detective Daniel Weidner. He's in the narcotics section right now. So
he's got a drug dog.
His dog's got a really dope name though.
What's his name?
Saul.
Better call Saul.
Better call Saul, right? Yeah. So.
You got meth, you better call Saul.
Right. That's from
Breaking Bad.
I knew that.
Yeah.
That was a good series, man.
Yeah.
Good series.
It was a very good show. Did you watch the spinoff, Better Call Saul?
No, I did not.
Yeah, I need to catch up on it, but it's pretty good too.
Is it?
It's all about Saul.
Yeah.
Goodman.
Southland is another one. Have you ever seen that one?
No.
Yeah.
I live there, but I've never seen the.
You live on the south side, yeah. So, well, I think he's here. You want to bring him in?
Yeah, we'll bring him in.
All right, let's get a refill, and we'll be right back. Hey, welcome back to Coffee Break. We are here with our guest, Detective Dan Weidner. How you doing today, sir?
Pretty good. Thanks for having me.
No, thanks for coming. We know you're a super busy guy. 2 weeks in a row, we have a canine. Can you introduce us to your friend?
This is Saul. He's my canine partner. He's a 4-year-old Belgian Malinois.
Okay.
He's calm right now, but I don't suspect that's going to last throughout the show. Yeah. He's got his ball for a minute, and so we'll see how that goes.
So we ask every guest, have you seen the podcast?
I have.
See, there we go.
Ah, there we go.
Finally got it one.
A viewer.
Yeah. So it's laid back. So we want the community to know who the person is. So tell us who's Dan Weidner.
Well, I guess I better correct you because some of my friends and family might see this and they don't know me as Dan.
Oh, okay.
It's Daniel.
Oh,
Daniel.
No. So I learned to
name.
embrace that in the Army, and then here, for some reason, I guess the two careers can't say Daniel. They say Dan. It's a very common police name or Army name.
Yeah, right.
But anyways, born and raised right here in Wichita. This is home. I have a wife, Danielle. She's a forensics nurse. So she deals a lot with sexual assault, domestic violence, helping the victims of that. We have 3 kids, high schooler, elementary, and getting ready to start kindergarten.
Oh,
so yeah, we like to do family stuff, man. We're water, lake, pool, you name it. That's what we like to do. It's summertime, our favorite time of the year.
Yeah. It's
awesome.
Especially during Kansas, it's all hot. That's
Yeah.
all we get.
You know, so I was watching your guys' show, and I thought you had mentioned to me trying to come on one of these days.
Yeah.
And so I thought, you know what, man? I am a Wichitan, so I better give a shout out to our East High Blue Aces.
There you go.
Ooh,
My
East
Meade
High.
Mustangs.
There you go.
And Linwood Elementary. When I went there, it was Linwood Dragons. I think they're the Wildcats now.
Okay.
I think it changed my 5th grade year.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
cool.
all those kids in those schools, that's where I come from. That's home. All 3 of those schools.
I love Linwood, man. Their school's set up like a big circle in the middle, and
So that's a new school. I didn't go to that school.
Oh, okay.
It used to be between Patty and Lulu.
Okay.
Off of Bailey.
Gotcha.
Now there's just a little community center. The school has been torn down.
Yeah.
So what made you want to get into law enforcement?
You know, I had an uncle who was a firefighter, and as a kid, that's what interested me.
Right.
And so I had also had a little bit of an interest in the Army. My stepdad had some brothers that were in the Army, and so the opportunity arose that I could go to the Army and have my college paid for because I knew I wanted to go to college.
Yeah.
And so that's what I did. I was a military policeman in the Army. In college, I had to take some elective classes where I had to do a ride-along in little Pittsburgh, Kansas.
Oh, nice.
Go Gorillas. Right. And I thought it was the greatest thing. And so I had a friend here that was on WPD. I asked him if I could come do a ride-along with him, and it was the greatest time of my life. So
there you go.
There it is. Hook, line, and sinker. They got me.
So, and were you enlisted or commissioned in the?
I was commissioned.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go. And how long you been on the department now, and where have you been?
So I started in 2005. That's when I started the academy. I've worked in the East Bureau as a patrol officer. I moved to North Scat, worked in North Side for a couple of years before I got my first dog. Continued on North Side as a North Side K9 handler. Then I moved to South Side when the K9 unit was kind of centralized. And so as patrol officer, those were the assignments that I had. Then as a detective, I've been assigned to EMCU, ICAC, the Internet Crimes Against Children Unit, and then I moved to the Gang Felony Assault Unit, and now I'm in the narcotics section.
Okay. Staying busy.
Always.
Can you talk a little bit about kind of what you do with the narcotics section? Because you're in kind of a unique spot as far as detectives. So can you talk about your role and kind of what you do on a daily basis?
So, of course, Saul's trained to detect illegal drugs, right? Lost his ball. Here.
Drugs and balls.
And he loves that toy. So, he's trained to detect illegal drugs. So we supplement the narcotics section. We've got a group of undercover narcotics detectives, and their job is to investigate, higher level drug complaints. And we assist them because they can't stop cars. Of course, we're a marked unit. Quasi-marked unit, and so we can assist them in that way. We can assist them using the dog in various different investigations they have going on. We also assist the DEA, the Drug Enforcement Administration, kind of with the same type of deal. In their investigations, of course, they don't have the ability to stop cars, so we'll assist them doing that and whatever they need the dog for.
There you go.
So I imagine you stay pretty busy.
We stay pretty busy.
Yeah.
So, I was a dog handler in the military, so a lot of questions that was always asked to me, and I'll ask the same to you, is how much money is put into training you guys, or how much time is also put into training you guys from let's just say basic dog training school?
I've never figured the dollar amount. I'm sure it's pretty high. The dogs, an untrained dog is pretty expensive. We want them to have superior genetics. We want to put them through rigorous tests before we select them to make sure that they're going to be a good dog for what their purpose will be. But our training regimen, I heard Officer Westcott talk about it last week. His training regimen is different, but he said 10 weeks. And that's about what ours is, to train a dog, about 10 weeks. And it's rigorous. It's academic, it's physical, it's long days, it's repetitive, training the dogs. Because we want them to be reliable so that we can defend their actions in court, without question. Yeah.
It's almost like when you get them, it's almost like a combine for all the
absolutely.
canines, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. See how far the dog can jump and run and yeah.
What is kind of like the most rewarding part of your job for you? Like, what's your favorite thing about it?
I think that's there's two parts. So with the dog, of course, we're involved in a lot of unique investigations that maybe a lot of patrol officers don't get to experience. I love it whenever we find big drugs, large amounts of drugs. Drugs have affected my family. I think it gets to everybody with family and friends, and so that's been my focus. But we also get the opportunity. We do a lot of teaching at schools, just teaching about the dog. We've taken on a role to where we go to some of the high schools now, teach a little bit more, because they're getting to the point where they're learning about the Constitution, they're learning about search and seizure, and they see these YouTube videos that might be misleading and things like that. So it's nice to be able to reach out to them and teach them the actual, like, Kansas specific, this is what happens here,
right?
Especially about the dogs.
Yeah. So a lot of our viewers are also law enforcement officers, especially here with the police department. And we recently had the graduation of 26 new recruits. Yeah. One thing, I was down south with you. One thing I've always appreciated about you is you're not afraid to teach young recruits or young officers how to do the job right and everything. So what's some advice you would give to those new recruits coming out, what to expect and how to do their job?
There's going to be a lot thrown at you. New into the career, we use the analogy all the time. It's like drinking from a fire hose,
right?
And it really is. But set goals, set some goals for yourself. Whether it's you want to learn a particular part of policing, but set those goals. And then once you get those goals, take proactive steps. Whether it's finding some literature, finding some training, and then talking to the senior officers. Sometimes I think, hopefully I didn't come off this way as you, but I think sometimes junior officers find some of the senior officers unapproachable.
Right.
There's an intimidation factor, but don't be. We all came from the same place. It's if you've got questions, ask those senior officers, and if they weren't able to make it clear, ask them to explain it.
Yeah. Yep. Nope. You didn't come off that way at all. That's why I always enjoyed to be able to come and ask you questions or tell you about some kind of stop and get a little bit more feedback and stuff. So
glad to hear it.
Yeah.
That's good advice.
So one of the games that we play is One Has to Go. And Trevor found a good one.
Today, I don't know if you know this or if you're celebrating today, but today's National Onion Day.
Oh.
So we've got some onion-related items to get rid of forever. These items never existed. We have onion rings, French onion dip, Funyuns, and the famous bloomin' onion on the bottom there. We got Shrek in the background because ogres are like onions. They have layers.
I like the Shrek reference there.
Yeah.
You know,
big Shrek fan.
It wasn't until I became into my adult years that I even liked onions. I
really
hated them as a kid.
Yeah.
Right?
I think that's a common theme.
I think the one that has to go, only because I don't think it's an onion, would be Funyuns.
Yeah.
Right?
Ooh, there's gonna be a lot of people.
I know,
a lot of people hating on you for that one.
Yeah. Because that's like my go-to, or my kids like
my son too, man. He loves those.
That's what I'd get rid of too, though.
The
honestly,
Funyuns?
Funyuns. I love Funyuns, but I can't remember the last time I had a Funyun.
I hate when you do get that really big Funyun in there. Like how do you have to break it off? There's no way to eat it. I'm getting rid of the French onion dip. I just think it's nasty.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, we go through tubs of that at my house. We do.
That's how you eat it with like the wavy Lay's
Yes,
chips. That's
absolutely.
the best.
That's the
That's the best
only
snack
way.
ever.
Yeah.
See, my wife would be mad too because that's her go-to snack
Yeah,
as well. But I just can't stand it. I'm not a fan.
Oh, I gotta mention this too before we're done recording because we talked about it a little bit earlier. But
I figured
you had a Mandalorian ringtone.
I did.
On your phone. Chad, do you know what the Mandalorian is? You ever heard of the Mandalorian?
That's a Baby Yoda.
No, it's not. It's not Baby Yoda. It's Grogu.
It's Grogu.
It's not.
It's not something that comes on my TV.
I'm so disappointed.
You have kids.
I do.
You should be raising them right.
I am.
Introduce
They
them.
go to their uncles and he takes them to go.
How many episodes are we in now, and you still haven't watched Star Wars, despite being repeatedly told
I know
how good it is by multiple guests?
But I'm super busy.
You're not.
I am.
You have time to watch the movie.
I'll say this: like some people, they get into the storyline, the characters, and all. I just watch it because it's usually good action. It's good.
Yeah.
It's good entertainment.
So if for not being a Star Wars fan, not liking movies that are completely unrealistic, even if they did happen in a galaxy far, far away, what one should I start with?
Ooh, I don't know that debate. You know, I mean, there is a big debate there, right?
Yeah.
But I say it's.
Because you were saying something about the new series or the new show, the Mandalorian stuff.
I prefer them, but
you have to have a base to watch that. You can't just go in blind to that one because there's gonna be so many references thrown at you, and you're just like, well, who's that?
Yeah. So I have to go back to the original.
So yeah, I think that's where you start.
Oh yeah.
What is the first one? Empire Strikes Back or something?
No, A New Hope, episode 4.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the very first Star Wars.
Yeah.
That came out.
Which is technically episode 4.
Yeah, episode 4.
Makes sense.
The order you need to watch them in, what I like to do is 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 6, and then 7, 8, 9.
Yeah, that's very good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just do that.
I will try.
Do that and let me know what happens.
This 4th of July weekend coming up, I will try to watch one.
We'll see.
I'll let you know how long I stay awake.
I doubt you're going to make it, but
Well, sir, I appreciate you coming out. We know you're super busy, but I appreciate being a fan of the podcast and all the hard work that you do for the city and stuff too. So we brought you water, so you can take that with you.
Always have it with me. Stay hydrated.
So we are going to get a refill, and then we'll be right back. So see you guys soon. And we're back. Coffee break. Paul jumped in with us. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. Doing great.
In uniform as always.
As always,
looking sharp, bro.
Have to.
Everybody likes a sharp dress, man.
You know what? It's a great uniform. Ever since we switched, I've been happy.
Man, I like to do the.
I do.
What we're about 4 years now? 5 years?
About 5 years now.
Well, it officially ended in 2019 was when they officially phased out the Browns.
Yeah.
So we've had all blue officers for a couple years.
Yeah, so. Just a bunch of Avengers or avatars, blue
avatars.
officers.
Yeah, a bunch of Navi, 7 feet tall people.
Did you watch last week's episode, Paul?
I did not.
It's okay.
Oh,
it's
man.
okay. You know,
Paul.
Last week we did a Operation Save a Casing.
Yeah.
Spot or shout out or whatever.
Yeah, we plugged it.
Yeah, plugged it. So I figured you'd be proud, but because we did that, we also got questions to Police Web.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What's the question? Let's do this.
So first question. and we could all answer. What advice do you give a new person just starting basic training to succeed? So I'm thinking they mean the academy.
I would think so.
So what advice would you give someone just starting the academy on how to succeed?
Well, first of all, is you have to always be mindful of your field training officers as far as the advice they always give going into it. Prior to that, I think it's just being a good communicator, knowing to really know how to listen.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, we hear this term all the time, hey, just make sure you pay attention and you listen. Okay, that goes in one ear, the out the other. But when you're there, you're getting hit with so much information at a very quick pace that you really, really have to make an effort to pay attention, to listen, listen to the officers that are doing the scenarios, and come at it with the mind that it's you're not going to be perfect either. We don't expect you people to be perfect. We're human. We're not superheroes. We're not robots. There's during that time is a time to learn. Learn from your mistakes and also learn how to be a good communicator as well. I think a good majority of what we do, most of what we've learned, anybody can learn, but being a good communicator is another factor in this that really applies to the success of your career. Being able to connect with the community, right? Being able to connect with people, how to develop those relationships. And I think, to me, that's the key to success.
And I think sometimes with communication, everybody just thinks that means talking. And being, I mean, listening is, said it, listening is a big part,
Huge.
So what do you think, man?
Well, to piggyback on that, listen and do. Which is what they always tell you.
Yeah, especially at the range.
Listen and do. Do what they say. Listen. Study geography, because that's the biggest thing that gets people hemmed up is they get screwed up on geography. And just be open-minded and willing to take in all the information that's thrown at you.
And I think a great change that has been made over the years is that we now realize the importance of having a mentor. So you have a mentor that you will be assigned to during the entire process. So you'll have a senior officer, detective or whoever, that will be partnered with you to help you along the way so that you can ask questions. And if something's, not as clear, or if you weren't able to capture things, whatever it might be. But we've changed that compared to what it was before. So maybe those of you that are out there are considering during the entire academy, you have someone that has been on for several years that's going to help you along the process and help you be a guide and a resource so that you can be successful. Something that wasn't the case always years back.
And I also say, don't be afraid to ask that question, because out of the 25, 35 people that might be in your class, there's somebody that's thinking the same question that you are. And I always did, if you and I were in the academy together, I'd be like, hey, Trevor really wants to know, is Rock Road to the west of this intersection or So just put some humor to it,
That's funny.
And it makes your class laugh as well.
That's hilarious. That's funny that you still do that.
I do still do that. Yeah.
You do that a lot.
You can put it on me all day. It's
all right. So, another question is, what advice would you give to someone who has completed training and is now about to start day one on patrol with their field training officer?
Listen and do.
Listen and do.
I think the listening portion is so important, so critical. And I think going back to what you were saying, don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't and it's interesting because you hear your field training officers, hey, this is how we're going to do the XYZ. This is step 1 to step 5. Boom, 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 boom. Oh, okay, great. And then 5 minutes later, wait, how was that again? What are we doing again? And so I think communication is key, in understanding your weaknesses as well. So if your weaknesses is, maybe you have a hard time with writing or time management or whatever it might be, just being honest with yourself and working on your weaknesses as well.
Don't expect to get out and know exactly how to do everything right away, because nobody does. And it's not until you start actually doing those things and making those calls that you start to think back And you're like, oh, that's why in the academy they talked about this. And you're like, okay, now I know how to do that.
Yep.
And we have everything, all the information that you could ever want is available at your fingertips on the MCT. You can look at policy, you can look at state statutes, you can figure out how to do, any investigation you need to do. So the main thing is, make sure you're safe, make sure the people that you're encountering are safe, make sure the scene's safe, make sure your buddies are safe, and then go from there and just take it one step at a time.
I think another thing too is just like you touched on it earlier is don't be robotic. It's you don't want to just go up to a scene. Let's just say it's somebody just to make a report. You don't want to just be like, "Hi, I'm Officer So and So with the Wichita Police Department." Like, be human, because like you said, like this uniform doesn't make you any different, right? You're still Paul Cruz. I'm still Chad Ditch, Trevor Macy. Just be you. You know,
you're absolutely right, and I think sometimes. I think part of it is just you're nervous, right? You're new. You don't want to make a mistake. You don't want to look bad in front of your field training officer, and so I think we've all been there. But you're absolutely right. The difference between a good officer over the years that I've seen is just simply someone who can be human, can know how to communicate with someone, and is willing to empathize. And try to be in the person's shoes that's going through that situation. Remember, we're getting called to the calls that we respond to are calls where people are either in the most difficult moment or in a huge crisis. And that may be just one moment in their life, one phase or one incident, and they may not have any more contact with us. So being empathetic to those that are going through the situation, or whatever that might be, and then start developing those relationships early on with your community members and getting to know, get out of your patrol car, go knock on the doors, figure out what the needs are, figure out what's going on, figure out who lives in your neighborhood block, and try to build a relationship right there since day one.
Yeah, man.
I'll say another thing too. Don't let the FTO phase freak you out and discourage you, because it can be discouraging because you're getting somebody nitpicking everything that you do.
Well, then you get 3, sometimes even more FTOs depending on if they're off or not.
And you get different FTOs who have different standards or different ways that they do things, and you may learn one thing from one FTO, and then the next one is like, oh no, you don't want to do it that way, you want to do it this way. Just do it, the way that they want to teach you to do it. And when they give you're gonna get a low rating on certain things. I did. I'm sure you did. I'm sure you did.
It's usually something like minor, right? Like you parked, instead of parking 3 or 4 houses from your call you're going to, you parked 2 or 3, you know? And it's just one little minor thing to be able to get you to focus and
wait,
pay.
You parked 2 or 3 blocks away?
No, not blocks. So my first FTO taught me, like, let's say the house was on Rock Road, right? They would teach me never park on the street that the house is on. So, man, some of these streets have like 10 to 12 houses on and stuff. So
you got to hike a little bit.
You got to hike a little bit. So, and that's just officer safety stuff. But
and that's an opportunity for you to learn from different officers and kind of develop the way that you want to work as an officer. So don't let it discourage you when your field training officer, gives you a bad mark on something. Just learn from it and move on. Because once you get out of FTO, that's when you can kind of develop your skills on your own and
absolutely.
So I'm a firm believer on having as many tools to put in your toolbox as possible. So like you said, the more people that give you advice, the more ways you can just make it your own.
Yep. So I agree.
But
good answers.
Yeah, good answers.
Good discussion.
Great.
Good discussion.
Yeah,
good
thanks for the questions. So again, if you have questions, please comment on our YouTube channel. And so this is also up on the City of Wichita's YouTube channel for Coffee Break, and as well as Police Web at wichita.gov.
Police Web. So email us there.
Yep. So WPD facts. I got a good one today, especially coming off of Detective Weidner coming in. Did you guys know the first dog to go into training for police work with WPD was named Rennie?
Rennie.
Yeah.
How do you spell that?
Rinni.
Rinni.
Yeah. And then the dog, the dog was trained by a foreman German refugee outside of Springfield, Missouri. So this dog gets trained after it completes its training 1 week after graduation, the current chief at the time, Chief Pond, selected 6 more dog handlers and 5 new dogs to also go into training. And then they all hit the ground running as our new canine unit, basically, in July of 1960, something like that, in the 60s.
Wow.
So it's crazy, man.
It is.
That's cool.
That is a fun fact.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
A lot of
man.
history there.
And everybody loves dogs and stuff like that, but man,
Oh, yeah.
if you've ever trained one or seen them work, man, it's just absolutely phenomenal what those dogs can do.
They can do a lot.
So, but it's a sad week, man, for the Wichita Police Department's Public Information Unit.
The end of an era.
The end of an era. the OG of the section is moving on, promoted, man.
Paul
Finally,
Cruz's last week with
Yeah.
us.
Yeah.
congratulations, man.
Thank you.
So,
I appreciate that.
you've been on the unit for what, like 5 years?
About 5 years, and then part-time, if you include the part-time time that I did, almost 6.
No joke.
Yeah. So it's been a long time coming, and I'm really proud of the work that we've been able to do as a team, as a police department. The division started with just simply having information being provided and disseminated to the community, and it's really grown from there, given that we created the liaison positions. So I have dual role, so not just as an information officer, but I also wear the social media hat.
Yeah.
I also do it all in Spanish for our Spanish-speaking community. Here in Wichita, in case you don't know, we're almost at 90,000, which is about roughly 18 to 19% of the population in Wichita. So
That's
it's
awesome.
grown about 28% in the last 10 years.
Wow.
Juan's got some big shoes to fill.
Yeah, but I think part of it's just, I grew up. This takes me back. Part of the reason that I felt so passionate for this unit is not only because of my media background, but also growing up in LA and my personal experience of growing up as a kid and the relationship that law enforcement was with the community back then, which was in shambles.
Yeah.
So I didn't have the best perspective of law enforcement growing up. And so being able to then repeat history, and then it's my turn to really make a change, I took that to heart. And I remember what it was like going to elementary school, middle school, and high school. And LAPD just wasn't the best and most liked police department. So
Yeah, because you were down there for the riots and everything, right?
Yeah, I lived in Inglewood during the riots, right on Crenshaw and Hyde Park, actually.
Man.
So I was in the thick of it, so I got to see my neighborhood get burned down.
Right.
All the stores, I remember that as a kid. Remember all those vivid details, right?
Yeah.
So it was interesting because here I am again.
Yeah.
And with years later as an adult, and I'm in law enforcement. So I took to heart of really making an impact and making a change for our community, for our immigrant community, our Spanish-speaking community. And so I've always been a big advocate for that. And I think in many ways, patrolling in the areas that I did as a police officer, I remember seeing a lot of these young kids, being influenced and trying to get recruited by gangs or getting involved with drugs. And I saw myself in them when I was out patrolling. So, but, the good thing is that here I am able to do something about it, right? So the same thing with the unit, and we've been able to really work at it's a very high pace, as you know.
Yeah.
Extremely high pace. You never stop and you're never off.
Yeah.
So, but that comes with the territory. And I think at the end of the day, we've done a really good job of building that relationship with all community members. We're constantly trying to look at new ways to interact, hence why we're doing this podcast, right? This coffee break. So it's been exciting, but a little bit of bittersweet because I've invested a lot into what we've been able to work and develop with our community.
It's like handing your baby off to somebody
a little
else
bit,
and letting them raise it, right?
Like, it's a little bit. It's like
That'd be hard.
Do you know where you're going?
So I will be in the investigative section, and I will be assigned to the auto theft.
Okay.
Unit. Yeah. So that's the unit that I'm going to be starting with, and then we'll go from there. See what happens.
Awesome. I'm excited for you,
Yeah.
man.
Thank you.
So
That's exciting.
We got a little tribute. We didn't tell you. We got a little tribute to you. Going to show you Paul Cruz throughout the 5-6 years. Of,
nice.
So here we go.
Again, made me choke up, man.
Right.
This is. Man, thank you guys.
Man,
touching tribute.
I did not expect that.
Right.
That hit home. And you know, it's interesting looking back all these years. We've been through so many incidents, and but more importantly, the relationships I've been able to build, both within the police department and then also with our community and our citizens. It's been some I've made some really long, lifelong friends, and I think it's given me that opportunity to really, I think in many ways, look back and know that the years that I've invested in this, I've made a difference. I made a difference in the community. All of us go into this knowing that we want to make a difference, but to actually be able to see the fruits of your work in the way that I have with our community, I'm really proud of that. And I think in many ways, I tell my 10-year-old, 12-year-old self, hey, we mission accomplished so far, and we're going to keep doing it, keep working hard, keep serving our community as in the new investigative section now, and I'm going to keep trying to be the best that I can. That's what I do.
We'll miss having you around,
Thank you.
We're excited to see what you accomplish in your new role. Excited to see you move on and promote.
And when we get auto theft questions or catalytic converter questions, I'm just calling you.
We'll bring it back on the podcast.
So,
well, I appreciate it, and shout out to all of our community leaders and everybody that's watching. Thank you for supporting me and supporting the police department and this unit and everything we've done. I appreciate it. It's the reason why we've been successful.
I agree.
Yep.
Well, Paul, it's the last one you're going to be on as a part of the public information, man. You want to take us out?
Yeah. Thank you, everyone, for watching today's episode. Please remember to like, comment, and share. We're on all the social media profiles.
Of them.
That's right. All the social media platforms.
Platform.
Every
platform. You name it.
Yep. We're there. So please support this. Help these guys be successful. They're the ones that are going to continue this. And the way you've supported myself and then also Davidson as well, who just left the unit. So please do that. And until the next episode, thank you, everyone.
Peace.
See ya.